So today is March 13th, 2023. Amazing how fast this year is proceeding along. Welcome to the OPA call. For those of you who don't know, OPA stands for Organic Products Associates. What does that mean? Well, many years ago, Mary and Gary Loomis began this business, and they started just like all of you as distributors, actually as members. They became distributors, now called ambassadors. And they started talking to their friends, work associates, got referrals. And to make a long story short, they built a tremendously large, successful organization. But they didn't want to give it the name, Loomis Associates. They wanted to give it something more generic that everybody could feel a part of it and use the name if they wanted to. And thus it became Organic Products Associates. And many people use that, or they may use it as, for example, Organic Products Associates Sheraton, as an example. And their business grew, and they've got about 10 master coordinators, I think, throughout their organization. Pretty awesome. Would anybody else like to have 10 master coordinators in your organization? Say yes.
Yes.
Absolutely, right? Absolutely. But as they matured in years, they wanted to do some planning, and fortunately, they had a son who was interested in taking over the business, and that is Rob Loomis, who's now running the business. And he lives in Boston and Maine, and he's a lawyer and a PhD in the classics. And he took over the business and his parents passed away, and it's still a thriving, wonderful business. Isn't that great? Wow. So every month, there's this OPA call, Organic Products Associates call, like tonight. And it's hosted by normally one of the master coordinators. And it's our privilege and opportunity tonight, Hannah and me, to be the host of the call. Hannah's going to do the work for the call, and I'm just going to be like the window dressing here.
Well, one thing we do need
Yep.
from you, Alan, is so you can make Amber host, because we're going to have her show something. So
Okay.
you could go ahead and
If
work
I
on
can't
that.
do that, if I can't do that, Scott can. So
Okay.
again, welcome everybody
Hold on.
to the OPA call. So Hannah, take it away.
Well, welcome everybody. So glad to have you all with us tonight. And you are in for such a treat tonight with having Amber and Ashley, the two big A's here, and all of their talents, and that they're going to share a lot of things with you. And Amber is going to be the majority of the program tonight. And I've asked her to be on with us tonight because I got to meet her just a handful of months ago. And met her actually through those of you who took anything from Danelle Delgado. Once the people who bring the lunch, they formed. What, hon?
I'm sorry, I hit play by mistake. I was trying to pull up my slide. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, no problem. So Amber and I wound up on the same accountability group. And I just became so enamored with this young woman who is just a human little dynamo. I mean, she is just really something. A woman has so many talents. You can see a little bit of her house from there. Her house is absolutely gorgeous, and she decorated it herself. And she is married to Tony, who's a very, very congenial, very, very nice, friendly guy as well. And
Of
she
course
has
he is. He's a Shackley guy.
Yes, he is. He's a Shackley guy. My whole family's Shackley. Yeah.
And she has two beautiful daughters who just completed college and making their way into their new career. So I'm really excited because I thought of several things that I wanted Amber to share with you tonight. And I asked her to start with her story because it's a very unusual story in a lot of ways. And she tells it so well. So Amber, why don't you go ahead and get started? And thank you so much for your friendship. And thank you so much for sharing that you do with me personally and how you do this, being willing to speak for us tonight.
Oh
So
my
thank you.
gosh, Shanna. Thank you so much. Thank you to you and Alan for having me on tonight. It is such an honor to be here, honestly. And your friendship, I mean, you and I were like, we hit it off. We were just, we just had a connection, and I feel our friendship, and I'm looking forward to many years. So thank you very much. So just my story was 15 years ago, I was a mom of 2 kids. They were 10 and 8. I was working full time. I feel like we all feel like we're super mom, like we're nurses. We run them everywhere. I had the sports. They were both in travel sports and threw all the parties for everyone. And I was completely exhausted, to be honest. And I just got through the day. I got up early and I went all day long, and I was not feeling good. And I got to the point where I thought I had something very seriously wrong with me. So I ran to my doctor and I said, I really don't feel good. There's something wrong with me. So he took some blood work and he said, you know what, Amber, everything looks great. You're healthy. And I said, well, that's great, but I don't feel healthy. Okay. So I went about for another 6 months. And one night I was out to dinner with my husband and a work colleague. And I was telling her my story. I was probably complaining. And after I had complained a little bit, she just looked at me and she just very nicely said to me, Amber, I have something that I think would really work for you. Is it something that you may be interested in? And I didn't ask any questions. I said, yes, please. I didn't ask the cost. I didn't care. I wasn't putting a price tag on my health. And so she started me out with the Vitalizer. So I remember getting the Vitalizer in the mail that morning. I waited like a week. I got the Vitalizer in the mail. I took it that morning. And usually I was in bed at 9 o'clock. I threw a pillow over my head. I told my kids, don't talk to me. My husband, don't wake me up, because I would wake up so tired in the morning. And that sleep was so precious to me. So that night I was sitting there and my husband taps me on the shoulder and Tony looks at me and he said, Amber, what are you still doing up? And I said, well, what are you talking about? And he said, Amber, it's 11 o'clock at night. Well, I freaked out. I don't know if I was more mad at him for not telling me earlier or myself for not realizing it. But all I know is that I went to bed totally stressed out because I had lost 2 hours of my sleep that I knew I was never going to get back. So I went to bed annoyed, and I woke up the next morning before my alarm clock. And I thought, well, this is weird. And I felt good. Like I'd been waking up feeling like I had a hangover every morning. And I felt good. So I got up that morning and I was like, okay, this is definitely placebo, because there's no way that something can work this fast. So then the next night I went to bed and I stayed up till 11 o'clock and I got up before my alarm clock, and then the next night and the next night. And then it was at that point I was like, oh my gosh, you have got to be kidding me. This really works. And I got very, very excited. And I called my upline, Joni at the time. And I said, look, I want to share this stuff. This is incredible. So she contacted me, we got together, and I launched my business. And that was 15 years ago. And I grew very fast back then. I was holding house parties. I became a director my first month. And then I just kept having parties and getting referrals and having more parties. And I grew up I grew very quickly. And then after 3 or 4 or 5 months, I grew so quickly that I really didn't know what to do from there. And Hannah kind of asked me, like, what is the difference now? And I'll go ahead and tell you that in a little bit. But back then I was so busy. I didn't have a process. Okay. And I'm the kind of person that needs a process. I need to know what to do next. I need my steps. I need to be able to say, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. And to be organized. And I felt so chaotic. I felt stressed out at the time that something had to give. And unfortunately, it was my Shackley business, because I was making a lot of money with my insurance business. So sadly, I said, okay, I have to make a decision. And I stopped my insurance or my Shackley business. But, we became huge Shackley people, my husband, my children, my family, everybody I had introduced it to. And I had some customers who stayed with me over 15 years, probably 2 or 3. I was getting a small paycheck every month, like a little bit. But it's funny because over the last 15 years, when I came back into Shackley, I noticed at the bottom of my first check this year, it told me I had made like $42,000 from 15 years ago. And I was like, but I didn't even work my business. So it like kind of got me really excited. So long story short, my kids went to college. I felt a big loss in my life. And I was looking for something to fulfill me, kind of like being a mom. It's almost like they're out on their own now, and I needed a purpose. So I said to myself, okay, what am I going to do? I was sick of the insurance business. And so I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to start my own business again. So I did. I started One Happy Chick Decorating and Staging, because I had a house down here in Florida. The big salesperson in Florida said, oh my gosh, your house is gorgeous. Do you want to decorate for my homes down here? And I was like, oh my gosh. Well, it was way too much time. It was way too much, traveling to Florida. So I ended up doing it in New York, and I started it. It was successful. And I hated it because people were fussy. They wanted $1 million job for $500. And I couldn't stand the carrying stuff in and out in the winter and freezing. And I just literally hated it. So I remember one day I was sitting in my chair in the living room, and I was like, oh, okay, now what am I going to do? I love working out. I love being healthy. So I started Googling. I know this sounds so funny, but I started Googling MLM companies. Bear with me here, okay? I started Googling MLM, and I came across Beachbody, and I was like, yes, I love Beachbody workouts, but I could never, ever, ever take their supplements. So I was Googling, what are the top MLM companies? And of course, what pops up? It's Shaklee. Okay. So this light bulb went off in my head. And honest to God, everyone, I have no idea why I didn't even think of Shaklee in the first place. I don't know if in the back of my head, I was thinking I wasn't successful the first time, so I wouldn't be successful again. But I literally ran up the stairs to my husband. He was on the treadmill, and I looked at him and I was like, I'm going to do Shaklee. And he was like, he's running, and he's like, that's great.
Oop. You went
You're
on
muted.
mute.
You're muted. Amber, you're muted.
I thought someone muted me. I didn't touch anything. My hands were here. So I ran up to my husband, and he was like, okay. And I texted my girls, and they were like, my oldest was like, great, Mom. And my youngest was like, oh, thank God I don't have to help you carry furniture anymore. So happy for you. And that was it. And that was November of 2021. So I just started going on to Shaklee TV. I started going and watching every single thing I could. I started getting on the Mission Monday calls. There was not a Mission Monday call that I did not miss. And every Monday when somebody would get on, I would do whatever they said. I would write it down. I would do whatever they said. And God bless you, most of the time I would call the person, and I would text them and say, can I pick your brain? And I would call the person. And then I would reach out to people like Jeannie Tuval. She was a master. I reached out to, so my upline wasn't doing it anymore. She had gotten out of it right after I did. She ended up working 3 jobs. She was like, Amber, I can't really help you. I'm so sorry. So I was kind of out there on my own little island. And the only thing I knew how to do was to go to the people who were successful. So that's what I did. And I went to the Ramoses, and when they were on Monday Mission, and I went to Maria Isabella, and I went to her when she was on Monday Mission, and Serena Forrester and Z Slingsby, and all the people that were on, I reached out to. And I just started to learn things. And when I learned them, I implemented them. And after about probably 7 or 8 months of doing this, I finally was able to put my own processes together. I hired coaches. I listened to Danelle Delgado. I went to her retreats. I hired another coach from another company. I hired Z to help me automate my business. And I really just spent the first year building my own personal PV and learning. And I know people say, well, I'm a director, and I haven't got above director at this point, but this year my goal is to be a senior coordinator by the end of the year. I want to have 2 directors. By next year, I want to be a key coordinator or higher. And I just didn't, last year I was building myself. I was reading leadership books. I was building myself, and I didn't feel at the time that I could help other people, because I was really just trying to help myself at that point, and I was trying to get a process together. And I know people say that's not how you should do it. You should bring people in, and I was bringing people in as ambassadors, and they wanted to come on, but I didn't know how to train them. Like I didn't know what to do with them. So I was like, okay, you have to figure this out. So since then, I've put my own training page together. I've started my own VIP Facebook group. I've started my own niche group. Like I said, I automated my business and my volume's around 5,000 or a little higher. And I'm ready now. I'm ready to build people. And my vision is to build as many women and men as I can who want to do this business.
And what will your life be like when that happens?
So my vision, Hannah, is, so for me, you and I kind of had this discussion, and I'm very blessed in life. My husband and I have a home in New York. We have a home in Florida. We are very, very happy with that. But I would love to be able to, you know, I told Hannah, I never know. My husband's the breadwinner right now, and he has been, you know, since probably 10 years together. But I would like to be able to have my own, I would like to be the breadwinner of the family. I would like to have the residual income. I would like, when he gets his, you know, retirement money or his pension, I want to have, you know, a big paycheck coming in every month to help my kids, my grandkids, charities of my choice. You know, we just had some tragedy and close to our family, a 22-year-old was just diagnosed with glioblastoma, you know, stage 4 brain cancer, and to be able to help her this month and months going forward, that's my goal. You know, that's where I'm putting my money, to get them through their chemo treatments. I had a good friend paralyzed in high school. So to be able to give to those kind of things, that's what I see in my future, being somebody who just gives to people and helps those who need it.
You know, it's interesting you say that, because we've talked over the years that when we bring people in who are financially sound already, and they are really financially independent. So why Shaklee? Why would you want to do that when you have all that already going for you? Well, actually, we say is, if you don't need the money, give it away.
Somebody else does.
Because one of the beauties of this business, if you do want to be a philanthropic person, I don't know of any other better way to be able to do it than through this business. Because first of all, the work we do every day is making people's lives better. But then you also have the funds to be able to do the things like you're describing.
Absolutely.
And, you know, and making that difference for most people, I think, is high. In fact, when you were mentioning about the other multi-level companies, one of the things over the years that I've seen, because we certainly didn't go out and investigate other companies so much, but we've had a lot of people who've come to us who are in other companies. And one thing that always stands out is what's missing. They may have a product, probably not a real good one. They may have a comp plan, probably not as good as ours. But what they don't have at all is the kind of culture that we have, the kind of sense of community where literally, if you were traveling, Amber, and you had a flat tire or whatever it is in any area, it doesn't matter. You could go on the phone, we'll call a Shaklee person, and you know that they would be there available for you. And we've actually had a few people call us from the phone book. We live near an interstate. And it's always a good feeling to know that people can have that degree of comfort. So I think that's a great point.
It's funny you say that, Hannah, because some of the people that are in my organization, they can't work it right now, but they tell me they love the sense of community. They love our team calls, even though some of them are actively building, they're still on my Monday night team calls, you know, because they love the camaraderie, they love the positivity, they love what Shaklee brings to the table.
That's great. And who knows where that filters out to, where all that spreads, and who else do you help that you don't even know
Exactly
that you're going to be of value to them. So isn't it great to realize you can have all these personal goals, you can have financial goals, and you can have goals of making a difference in everyone else's world, plus knowing that personal growth and self-development that Shaklee is so famous for. So knowing that, and knowing what I know about you and what you do to help yourself and become even more self-development even than you already have, which is already great. But so what would you say to that? What kinds of things are you actively doing now? I know you mentioned in the beginning, some of the things you did over that year, but are there any specific ones you're doing right now that you find are exceptionally beneficial?
So honestly, Hannah, like I just said, every time somebody's on, you and your daughter Ashley last week, you were on the call with Haley, with the skincare. So you did that in February, and a light bulb went off in my head, and I thought, okay, this is going to be great because I can have my people. What better way to just say to people, I'm going to give you a free skincare for the night, and we're going to have a Zoom, and during that Zoom and that mask, I'm going to play my Ready Set Wellness video and my story video. And so now at the end, they're either going to be interested in skincare, or they might be fighting like, what am I going to get? Am I going to get both? Am I going to get the Ready Set Wellness? Am I going to get the skincare? And I just thought, what a great way for my people to be able to ask other people, because it's not really salesy. You know, it's like, hey, I'm having a skincare party. I would love to send you some free samples, get in your jammies, get your wine, your coffee, your tea, whatever it wants to be. I am learning from people like you who have done it and are successful. And I just, whatever you guys are doing, I'm implementing. So I this week I created my own Canva slide presentation, and we're going to do our first party March 26th. And I've actually just reached out to some people who were ambassadors from 15 years ago, who I said to them, you know, would you like to invite some people? We can start making you some money. And she was like, I'm on board. I'm on board. So, you know, reaching out to those people. And I also learned last year, I was starting with the product because, as I said to you guys, I really didn't know how to lead with the business. But now that I have my processes in place, now I can lead with the business. So I'm not afraid to ask people about the business. And like Hannah said, if you ask the business and they're not interested, then you can always default to the product. So that's kind of something I'm flipping around a little bit this year. I'm looking for people to build this year. And honestly, Hannah, I just, I keep learning. I'm just learning. I'm reading. I listen to Darren Daily. I just, I listen and I implement. And I just think that's really important. I hire coaches. If you want to hire a coach, it's always nice to have, you know, a coach if you want to do that. But you guys have wonderful coaches. So really there was no need for that. But if you don't have a team, or you know somebody that doesn't have a team, for me, it was just, you have to have your process in place. And I said to Hannah, I have to make it duplicatable for people. You have to make it simple. You have to make it duplicatable. So everything I have and everything I've made is what I'm teaching my team, and then I'm telling them to teach their people. So I think that's super, super important. And that's what I was missing 15 years ago. And that's why I think I'm successful this time where I wasn't successful last time, as far as growing my business.
And I think that you probably are at the point now where you're recognizing when you have this all in place, now it's just a matter of time.
Yes.
As long as you do those things. But one thing I noticed, and this is going to be a topic with Ashley tonight too. So when things aren't going as well as you wanted or as you planned, what are some of the techniques that you use to bring yourself to making sure that you stay the course, you do what you need to do to come out of that and to move forward?
So that for me, Hannah, is about mindset. You know, it's you have to have that mindset. And that comes from reading books. And that comes from, for me, it's my faith. You know, I pray. God help me get through this. But it's a lot about mindset. You have to know in this business that it's not all going to be positives. You know, it's going to be some struggles. But listen, the most successful people in life, the Michael Jordans of the world, you know, the Hannah and Alan Sherapins, the people in this, Dr. K-Sau, you know, those people who are very successful in this business are the people who just don't stop. And maybe working at home all those years and having to be self-motivated. I've always been self-motivated, but, you know, maybe that helped too. You know,
Oh, sure.
Self-motivation is a big thing, but I have a schedule every day that I try to stick to very routinely. I get up in the morning, I do my reading, I do all my social posting and my Facebook stuff, and I reach out to people, and I have to do that early in the morning because in the afternoon I work better in the morning. So find your time that you work better. If it's in the afternoon, good, pick that time and stick to it. And if you're doing something, don't get distracted. If you're reaching out to people and you set your timer for 30 minutes to reach out to people and somebody responds, don't respond to them. Just keep reaching out to people for those 30 minutes and then pick another time to respond to them people. But I think the more consistent you can be and the more, if you can time your day out, it's very, very important to do that.
Definitely. You know what, I'm just thinking that I would love for us to stop here for a moment and show your special video that you
Okay.
shared with us previously. I
Yeah.
think this will be something that everybody will really enjoy. And remember, Amber did this on her own. She did
What
not
is
have a
it?
professional crew, right?
What is it, Amber?
No, I did it on my own. So when I first started this, my master's, the Gottliebs had given me some slide presentations. It was her slide presentation. And I just took some things and I kind of learned and I kind of did my own thing, but I took, kind of what she was saying in it. And I thought, okay, it's working for the master, but I got to put my own spin on it and kind of do my own thing. So Danelle Delgado said we should have our 7-minute story. And I recorded myself just like this, just talking to people, but I'm a very visual person. So I thought, okay, I'm going to do my story. I'm going to talk about Shaklee. I'm going to talk about our health. I'm going to talk about Ready, Set, Wellness, and I'm going to do it with slides. So I had my friend come over. She showed me how to record things. And then I put this slide presentation together. And this is what I send to all my people when I talk to anybody that I meet. After I find out there's a need, I simply say to them, can I ask you a question? And they'll say yes. And I say, it is very important for me, not only that you trust me, but when people buy something or they start a program, it's important that they trust somebody. So it's important that you trust me, but I also want you to trust my company. So would it be okay if I sent you a 9-minute video? I share my why, I share some highlights about my brand company. And then if you think this is something you want to move forward with, we can talk. And that's how I start all my conversations. I have everybody that I talk to watch it. I've never had anybody say no. And it's working. It doesn't seem to be, it is working for me. So if you want me to go ahead and start playing it.
I do. Alan, did you put her so she can be host?
I think Scott did.
Oh, okay.
It's all set.
Okay, great.
So I just have to figure out how to.
While she's doing that, I want
Bottom of the
everybody to
screen,
really
share
take
screen.
note, not only what she does and how effective it is, but how genuine and authentic she is, and why you think that it would attract a lot of people and have them trust her. We're all capable of doing it. She just took the bull by the horns and just decided she was going to do it.
Okay, so here is one of my nemesis. Believe it or not, I made this video, but I can't figure out how to get to, hang on. I do this for my team meeting, so I'm not sure why I can't view. Let's see, exit full screen. Okay, can you see this?
Not so far.
No.
When you clicked on share your screen in the lower left-hand corner, did you click share sound?
Okay, hang on just a sec.
And
Tony,
optimize
can you
video
help
clip?
me? I know, I'm trying to figure it out here. Hang on. Sorry, everyone. Let's
That's
see.
okay. They're used to it. We all have a little struggles now and then with our
Okay.
technology.
All right, I'm going here. All right, share screen. There we go. Share screen. Okay, now I think you can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
Okay, all right. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit play. Okay, wait, Pat, you said I have to share sound?
I think so.
Yeah,
Okay,
you'll have to
second-
stop this share. Yeah, stop sharing this,
Okay,
then pick share screen,
okay.
bottom right hand or bottom left hand corner, share sound. Little checkbox down there.
It just says mute or stop video. I don't have anything that
No,
says.
just above that. In the screen, it's showing you all the options of what you're going to
Oh,
share.
share sound, got it.
Yep, share
Okay,
sound.
all right, I think we're okay now. All right, here we go. We should be good.
And I want to thank you for taking the time to. Hello, my name is Amber Corsiniti, and I want to thank you for taking the time to evaluate this incredible opportunity that Shaklee provides to people to make dramatic changes in their health and wellness. I know your time is precious, so I'll keep this short and sweet. So this is my beautiful family. 14 years ago, I thought I was healthy and doing all the right things, but I was exhausted all the time. And I would wake up daily feeling like I had a hangover. I was exercising, I was eating as healthy as I could with 2 active kids, but nothing seemed to be helping me. I even went to my doctor and had her draw blood work because I was convinced I had something seriously wrong with me. Thankfully, it wasn't anything serious, but she sent me on my merry way with no solutions. And then one day, someone who didn't even know me cared enough about me to share this incredible opportunity, and it literally changed the course of my life and my health and my family's. So I can tell you, whoever is sharing this video with you cares very much about you and your future self. Currently, there's approximately 8 billion people in this world, and everyone's looking for better health. People are looking for more energy, better immunity, improved sleep, less stress, and weight loss, just to name a few. And I can tell you that God's plan for us is not to age in reverse. Whether you're 10, 20, 30, or 60, we are all aging in the same direction. And these days, I feel like that's fast and furious. So let's talk about our health. So what are you looking for when it comes to your health? Are you being proactive in making it a priority? Because the truth is, doctors and scientists now know that inflammation is the leading cause of illness and disease. Take a look on the screen. Does anything look familiar to you? If there is, it's time to take control of your health. People ask all the time, do we need to supplement? And that is a resounding 100% yes. The mere definition of a vitamin is an organic molecule that is essential for our bodies to function. But today, it's impossible for us to get all our vitamins from food. Let's take a look.
Consider this paradox. We live in an age of medical breakthroughs. Advanced treatments, therapies, drugs, and technologies improve the science of medicine every year. However, the prevalence of heart disease is up nearly 10% since 1999. The prevalence of cancer is up nearly 20% since 1999. And diabetes, up 35% since 1999, is a gateway to other diseases. Unless we reverse this trend, experts predict that for the first time in history, 1 in 3 children born today may live shorter lives than their parents. So why aren't we healthier? It's largely because we're overfed and undernourished. Take a few seconds to think about it. We often choose convenience over our health. Fast food sales have increased 2,000% since 1981. Eating fast food more than twice a week is associated with an increased risk for diabetes. Even so-called healthy foods are full of artificial ingredients and fat. Only 2% of us get our daily recommended servings of fruits and vegetables. And studies show that produce is not as nutritious as it used to be. Poor nutritional habits are becoming a national epidemic. But you are in control. Countless studies show that nutritional supplementation can positively affect your health. With proper nutrition and a healthy lifestyle, 80% of all heart disease in women is preventable. 60% of all cancer-related deaths could be prevented. 90% of all type 2 diabetes is preventable. Proper nutrition and supplementation are critical. Give your body the nutrients it needs.
So everyone's jumping on the health and wellness bandwagon. So why did I choose Shaklee? Because we created the health and wellness bandwagon over 100 years ago, and I was looking for a company that I could trust. It's a company who's safe, whose products are beyond organic and 3 times U.S. pharmacopoeia standards. We test for 350 contaminants on every single new raw ingredient, and we run 100,000 quality tests annually. And we're proven. With 70 patents and patents pending, we have 110 clinical studies published in major medical journals, and we have millions of happy and healthy customers. And we're also guaranteed. No questions asked, even if the bottle's empty. And if that isn't enough, we have a history of firsts. Our founder, Dr. Shackley, created the very first multivitamin in the United States way back in 1915. We were the first in the entire world to become climate neutral, and that was way back in the year 2000. And we were the first to create an Earth Day product and the first and only company ever to prove that our supplements work. We are also a company with incredible leadership. There's our founder on the left, Dr. Shackley, who by combining science and nature created products that are unparalleled in the industry. And on the right is our visionary leader, Roger Barnett, whose leadership has taken us into the 21st century as the most clinically proven wellness company in the world. And that is the Shackley difference. So what type of people use Shackley products? Well, me and millions of happy customers around the world, but also people like 150 of our U.S. Olympians who have brought home 151 gold, silver, and bronze medals. Our astronauts in NASA, the White House, and people like Oprah Winfrey. And 9 out of 25 of Time Life's greatest adventures were powered by Shackley products. So I say when ordinary people, the smartest people, the most elite and most adventurous people on the planet use Shackley products, then you've come to the right place. Shackley has everything you need to continue or start moving your health in the right direction. Whether it's nutrition, healthy weight, sports nutrition, green cleaning, or skin and body care, we have products that are safe, proven, and guaranteed. So we've established that it's essential to your health to supplement. And Shackley has something no other company has, and that's decades of proof. We are the only company in the entire world who has proof that our products work in the short, medium, and long term. Welcome to the landmark study that compared Shackley supplement users to non-supplement users and over-the-counter supplement users. The findings were astounding and published in a major medical journal. Shackley users had healthier key biomarkers and higher blood nutrient levels, with 32% lower levels of triglycerides, 36% lower levels of CRP, which was that inflammation we talked about earlier, 13% lower levels of homocysteine, an indicator of dementia and brain health, and 32% higher HDL. And up to 97% of Shackley users had lower medication usage. Truly phenomenal. So you're probably wondering, how do I get started? Well, there's a lot of ways depending on your needs, but take a look at our most popular, most personalized, and easiest way to start.
They say getting started is half the battle. Let's make healthy happen together. One deliciously easy habit at a time. With a Ready Set Wellness Kit, curate your ultimate starter pack with our best nutritional solutions. Just take our quick quiz to analyze your body's unique needs and get daily supplement packs so personalized they have your name on them. Power through your day with a delicious meal in a glass, packed with nutrients to help you thrive. Then, every month, pick a boost to enhance your wellness routine. This is the start of a healthier you. Ready, set, wellness.
It doesn't matter how you start. It just matters that you start somewhere. And just know you'll be joining a company that will always have your back. A company that's always safe, always proven, and always guaranteed. The greatest gift you can give yourself, your family, and the planet is the gift of health. And Dr. Shackley once said, your future will be exactly what you decide to make it. And I say, choose wisely. Thank you for taking the time for your health, and cheers to you and a healthier future.
That's so good.
Thank you.
It's so good. It really is. I love that. And I think that one of the things that's so great about it is it's such a comfortable way as an entree with people, isn't it?
That's when I put it together, that's kind of what I wanted. I just wanted it to be very genuine. I wanted people to know that we were safe. And I want people to make their own mind up. You know, I don't want to push people. I just want them to see that, holy cow, yes, I do have some things on that screen and wow, you know, this company is great. Like, look at the people that use it. And wow, she just offered me an easy way to start. You know, so that's kind of what I was thinking when I was putting it together, just keeping it simple for people.
Well, I think you've accomplished that greatly. Would you have any statistics? Have you checked to see what your numbers look like? The
As
amount of people that see it, how does it convert to people who actually start becoming consumers or builders?
Yeah, Hannah, to be honest, I hate to, it just sounds unbelievable, but I sign everybody up who watches the video. I had 1 or 2 people last year out of everybody not sign up with me. And to be honest, even before that though, when I was doing my face-to-face presentation, I just think people see, I don't know what it is about the video or what it is about, but I close most everybody that watches and that I have a discussion with.
And one of the things that I love is that, first of all, you expect that to happen. And Deepak Chopra talks about expectancy determines outcome. But also you've made it very comfortable for people. That's also made it comfortable for you. So sometimes we have people who will say, I just don't know what to say, or I don't want people to feel like I'm pushing them. I don't want them to run away from me. You know, all the negatives that people tell themselves that are really just things we tell ourselves, not necessarily anything to do with reality. But you've really taken a lot of that away by just being able to say, okay, just start showing this video.
Yeah, and I want to keep it simple. Like I said, I want to keep it simple for my people, and that's not all I do. Once they watch the video, I have a sheet of things, basic questions. You know, do you take a supplement right now? How are your stress levels on a scale of 1 to 10? How much fiber do you get a day? Do you get enough fiber? Do you get enough protein? Do you get enough water? What does your exercise look like? And by the time I'm done asking them those questions, between the video and them being honest with themselves and going, oh, shoot, I don't get this and I don't get that. And I am stressed and I do have this. By the end of the video and by the end of the questions, I say to them, based on what you told me, you said that you're stressed. You said that you don't get enough fiber. You said that you don't get enough sleep. You said you wanted to, you know, your goal is to be healthier. Based on what you've told me, I feel the Ready Set Wellness package with the cleanse is your best option. Are you ready to get started? And I asked them, how serious are you? You know, that is one of my questions. If I were to get you started on a program, how serious are you with, you know, to make your health better? And they'll always say, oh, I'm ready. And then I say, okay, based on that, your Ready Set Wellness program, I explain the cleanse. And then I just ask them, are you ready to get started? And they say, yes, I'm ready to get started.
Well, you've taken what we used to call the funnel, and you start out with certain information, but you keep bringing it in further for them to get to the point of decision making.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think we quit too soon. We think, well, we'll get back to you, or you get back to me if you're interested, but you're not letting that happen.
No.
You're taking it through the path that's going to lead them to seeing why they want to be taking it now. But yet at no point, I'm sure everybody agrees with this, at no point do you ever sound pushy.
No.
Do you ever sound like you're pressuring a soul?
No, never. Never ever do I want to do that to anybody. And here's the thing, I literally, one of my 2 or 3 people since I've started this last year, that just said no to me. She was with Optavia, and I showed her the video and I asked her the questions, and she said, I really want to think about it. Can we talk next week? And I said, absolutely. And when she got back to me, she said, I think I'm really happy with what I'm doing. And I said, okay. And I said, you know, I asked her, I said, what was it? What was your decision point? And she just said, I just don't know. I'm just happy where I am and I'm comfortable where I am right now. And in my head, I said to her, that's totally fine. I totally understand. However, just know if you ever want to make changes, you know that I'm here for you. And I can't wait to keep watching your journey on Facebook. Good luck with your, your endeavors. She had told me she's just, her husband was this and that, and, she was having some issues. And I said, I'll be praying for you, and good luck with everything. And that's it. You can't make everybody want to buy Shaklee. And in the back of my head, I think at some point she'll come around.
No
Optavia,
doubt.
she was losing her hair from Optavia. So I really don't know, why anybody would want to continue with a program like that, but it's just not her time. And I tell my people that when you hear a no, it's not a no, it's I'm not ready right now. I tell a story about my friend Barb who sells Tupperware, and she's sold it forever and ever and ever. And I'm like, Barb, I don't need Tupperware. Barb, I don't need Tupperware. Barb, I don't need Tupperware. But when I did need Tupperware, I went to my friend Barb. So if you're always staying in front of these people, what I find is that they'll when they're ready, they're going to come to
They'll
you.
remember you,
They'll remember. Yeah.
certainly.
Yep.
Well, it is terrific. And I think, but how many hours did it take you to do that video, would you guess?
Oh, geez, Hannah, I have no idea. I am so bad with computers. It took me quite a while.
However,
And then I went and bought a microphone because my voice didn't sound really good. So I bought one of those big microphones, and then I found it was better if I held a piece of paper behind it. And, sometimes you could hear a little difference. Maybe I was in a different room when I was doing it, but it didn't take me so long that I didn't get it done. I mean, it took me
well,
probably.
right.
Here's
Well, the
the-
reason I'm asking that, I'm thinking, some people who work full time or
Yeah,
have major family commitments or other kinds of commitments might be questioning, but do I have time to try and do something like that?
well, the great thing, Hannah, hire someone. I mean, hire somebody. If you get your script or whatever, use what I've said and do your own thing, whatever you want to do. But I've found that if at this point I'm gonna, if I can't get it done, I'm gonna hire people. But I also found that what seems way overwhelming and feels like it's gonna take forever, if you really just sat down and focused for a couple hours, you can get it done. Like my slide presentation, that I made for the skincare party. I just sat down, I focused, and it probably took me like 5-6 hours, which,
But then you have it for how many times that you'll be using that same presentation.
I have it forever, unless something I have to change a slide out or something. It's something it's duplicatable. It's easy for my people. It's easy for their people. I just want it to be duplicatable. I think that's the key to this business, coming in the second time.
Okay, so I want to ask you something. Because I sensed something about you, and I'm wondering if you feel that this is accurate. And if it's not, feel free to say so.
Absolutely.
I get the feeling that you have so strongly where you want to wind up being, that everything else is just the means of getting there. It's following the roadmap, it's doing the work, it's doing the process without looking at the results all the time, waiting and just knowing it will happen. And so that's what can keep you going, even when things aren't all happening exactly as fast as you want.
You
Is
are
that accurate?
You are right on the money, Hannah. I know that if I keep doing what I'm doing, I know in my heart, I'm not going to let myself not be successful. So I know in my heart that every day, if I come to this desk or my counter or wherever I am, and I do what I'm supposed to do, and I reach out to people and I teach my people to do the same. I know Carol and Dick Dinkle gave me a master coordinator. They got their little globe for master coordinator back in 2008 when I started Shaklee. And Carol and Dick gave that to me at the conference last year. And she said, I know you will be a master coordinator. And I know in my heart I will be. So you have to have belief in yourself. You have to believe.
Yes, I agree. And I know that too. And for those of you who are listening, who maybe aren't at that place in your head right now, realize that spending at least 15 minutes a day on your personal development can lead you to the point where you do have that vision, where you can see where you want to be and what the steps are just to get there. It's not something that has to be anything complicated. Shaklee is simple, but it's not easy by any means. And sometimes there's some major disappointments and there are also setbacks. But the main thing is that if we keep our heads where we want it to be, that can make all the difference.
Absolutely. And having faith, not only in yourself, I have faith and I have faith that God has a plan for me. And I feel like this is my plan that he has for me. And whatever your faith is and whatever your, whatever you believe in, it's a strong part of where I am and what I think is important to people. You have to have faith.
Well, you've already demonstrated yourself as such a fine leader. And I know the organization is going to be a massive one. And it's going to be fun watching you at every year when you're up on stage for the next thing and the next, we'll all be cheering you along.
Oh, thank you. And I'll be cheering all you on too.
Well, I have to tell you, I just so appreciate that you were willing to take your time. And everybody doesn't know this, but she got up very early this morning from New York, got to Newark Airport, then flew in to Fort Myers, then had to go grocery shopping and to a ball game and have her own team call. And yet she was still willing to do this for all of us.
Oh,
So I think we all. Pleasure. So what I'm going to suggest is why don't you unmute yourself? And first of all, before we just applaud and give our thanks, we have a few minutes left for questions. And by the way, Ashley was going to talk for a little bit tonight. And she said, oh, Amber's doing so great. Save me for next time. Have her keep going.
Ashley, I love you, girl.
Okay, so anybody have some questions? I know she covered a lot of territory for us, but anybody have things you want to ask Amber?
I do. What program did you use to make that video?
I used PowerPoint. I went in and just recorded on PowerPoint.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's even easier than I thought.
Yeah, I mean, once you get used to it, it's pretty easy. If I had to do it over again, I would have to have my friend come back over and help me and show me how to do it again, because it went, I was really good at the time doing it. And now I'm like, I forgot how I did it, but it'll come back, but it's nothing. If I can learn it, and I promise you, I'm 54 years old and I am so computer challenged. If I can learn it and do it, anybody on this call can, I promise you.
Well, it was amazingly professional video, I think.
Oh, well, thank you. It's very not professional, but it's doing what I have.
Comes across very well.
It doesn't have to be perfect, right? It just has to be from the heart. I feel like when we just talk from the heart, people listen.
Very true. Very true. Any other questions for Amber?
Not a question, Amber, but that was just outstanding tonight.
Thank you.
And you are going to be a master coordinator. I have no doubt about it. You are great, and keep doing what you're doing, and you will continue to grow in Shaklee. So congratulations, and that was just an outstanding performance tonight.
That means a lot. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's from another master coordinator.
Yeah, thank you, Ray. I appreciate that.
Okay, anybody else want to say anything to Amber? Questions or share with her what you thought of tonight?
Very well done.
Thank you.
I want to sentiment the same thing. I was an invitee to this meeting, and it was very well presented, and congratulations, Amber, on your success. And definitely sounds like you have a great program, based on what you've shared.
Thank you very much.
Very inspirational, and very, definitely good ideas, and that you provided for some of us like myself. That's just kind of like, on the fringe of starting, because I still have a full-time job, and that takes up a lot of my time. But nevertheless, it's definitely a lot of good information.
Thank you, Rudy. And listen, you're never too old, right? You're never too old to start this business.
That's
Absolutely
for
not.
sure. For sure. Well, thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
Everybody just unmute and let's just all give her a collective thank you.
And
Congratulations.
Shaculous, Amber. Boom.
Great job. Thank you so
Amber.
much.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone. It was my pleasure and I'm very honored to be on here. Thank you, Hannah and Alan.
Well,
Yeah,
thank
Yeah,
you.
great job.
For having you.
Have a great night.
Good night, everyone.
Too. Good night, all.
Good night. Have a great day, everybody.
Good night.